Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited, actually, to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of The Huddle. Coach, yes! All right!
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hall Ride Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the six-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of Hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
No pizza in my hand, but we're ready to talk some football here, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show. About 8 minutes late, but
yeah, I wonder why that is.
You know, it is what it is. I don't care. I don't care. No, we got. Hey, listen.
Well, I think you answered the question. Why is it that we're 5 minutes late? Jazz don't care.
But I don't care. Now we got some really cool news to talk about today. We've got three commits since this past weekend. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure Vish can kind of he can attest to this. We've been in baseball overdrive for like the past 4 days. So I'm happy that we have the best recruiting guy in the game on the show tonight. And we've got DJ who knows a little thing or two about some recruiting as well, because I don't know about you guys.
We do got the baseball show next. So
we do got the baseball show next.
Jazz, I got that covered with the recruiting. I believe Mr. Larry Bluestein might have some recruiting insight, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit. What's up, Blue? How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Good.
Kind of. Last week, Tampa, Sarasota, Bradenton, watched Venice and Naples, watched a couple. Hey, I got a shout out. My buddy watches this show, and he's a Miami Sunset graduate. Woo. And this is the first time ever that Sunset's been in the state finals for baseball. So
Sunset Knights, baby. Wow, they're in the state finals, huh?
Yeah, tomorrow morning they play at 10.
The final game.
They're in the state semifinals.
Who are they playing?
I don't know. I just know that Douglas plays tomorrow night, and they have a chance to. Well, they already broke Florida's record. They've won 49 in a row.
Wow. Yeah,
two-time defending national champions.
Douglas. Yeah, I know Douglas is a pretty strong team. They've been strong for a few years.
Not to hijack the show for baseball, because we got a lot of football to talk about.
Yeah, we do. But we don't hate on that. I love to see Dade County teams, get into the state championships. It's fun to watch, especially in these higher I guess districts. I don't know what it is now, 8A, 9A, whatever it is now. I know Sunset's up there. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm always gonna blow smoke up my own team's butt when it comes to this, because we were the first ones in 2000 to kind of break the curse since 1985, when the HML, Hialeah Miami Lakes, went to the state finals and won it in 1985. Dade County didn't have another one for 15 years until 2000, when, look, your boys right here won it all in 2000, baby. So, and then, we kind of started a little run there. Hialeah made a little run for some time. You had Columbus do it as well. You had some really good baseball teams in the 6A through 8A categories. So I'm just happy that we were the trendsetters on that. So I'm always gonna give a shout out to the South Miami Cobras 2000 state title, state champs. We beat the number one pitcher in the country that year in the state semis, in Sean Burnett. Okay.
Oh yeah, from Wellington.
He was a third pick in the first round to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's right. I knew I recognized that name. Yeah.
And he was a closer for the Washington Nationals for a while. So
yeah.
So I'm always gonna name drop those type of things. So awesome.
As you should.
Good luck to Sunset. Good luck to Sunset. I know my buddy. I don't know if they're still playing Westminster Academy. Good friend of mine, Ernie Gonzalez is the
They
head
lost
coach.
last week.
Oh, they lost in the state
Yeah,
final,
last week.
state championship.
Yeah.
But
All right, is the Al Bundy section of the program over for us old timers that know that reference? Jazz reminiscing on his high school baseball days, and we can.
no, I mean, I'm
Come on, I know Al Bundy. Come on now.
I'm shouting out other teams too. My boys, Ernie Gonzalez, the head coach over at Westminster, and
I get blamed for everything around here, but I will say, I was there the whole weekend, and we played like crap right up until Jazz left the second game, and then from there it was clear sailing. So, me by myself seemed to work pretty well.
Probably me more than anything else, it could have been the two shakes that you had on Thursday, Mel. But anyways, we won't talk about that.
I can't believe she double fisted.
Yeah, unbelievable. Anyways, all right, let's get into some football.
All right, here we go.
We got a lot of. What'd you know about?
Man, look at this.
Hialeah class of '94. Damn, Sean. All right. That's old school right there. Hialeah, thoroughbreds, baby. Home of Gio Gonzalez. All right.
Yep.
That's claim to fame there with Gio Gonzalez and some other guys. They had some pretty good baseball players and football players back in the day.
Charlie Huff.
That's right. Charlie Huff is a Hialeah guy. That's an HML. Had some anyway. HML. What's his name? The quarterback from Duke played there. Can't remember his name now.
HML.
Yeah, for HML.
Oh, yeah.
Lewis.
With the Rams.
Yeah, Lewis, right? Was it?
Yeah, Thaddeus Lewis.
Thaddeus Lewis. Thaddeus Lewis played there. Anyways, all right. So, Blue, we've got a pretty big recruiting weekend this past weekend, as a couple of guys decided to pull the string and commit to the Hurricanes. Some 2024 kids, and it looks like a 2025 kid now. Also in, I don't know if I'm butchering his name. Kasani. Is it Kasani Giles? Is that right? KJ. Okay, so we got some and listen, some pretty big names as well, I think. I'm a big fan of Vincent Shavers, the linebacker out of Central. Super big fan of his. And we pulled a kid out of Alabama who's a pretty good prospect in Patrick Sullivan as well. Blue, we got to start with the boys down here in Miami-Dade County. Part of probably, arguably, one of the top 5 teams in the country in Central. A linebacker, a big kid, a very talented kid in Vince Shavers. What can you tell me about what the Canes are getting with this kid with Shavers? I know you've got, I know TJ Capers is down here in South Florida as well, and a lot of people like him, but I think Shavers is one to really keep an eye on as one of the top guys in South Florida.
Yeah, hasn't played a game yet for Central. This is his first year. Came over from Pace.
Right.
Smart kid. He actually was coming into high school one of the most highly regarded running backs coming into high school his freshman year at Pace. In fact, that's what he played a lot of, but turned into a heck of a linebacker. Very, very intelligent, smart guy, a lot in the Wesley Basaint mold, and the fact that he's a student of the game. He'll sting you a little bit. He's physical. He's a plug-and-play kid, really, a lot like Wesley was. I think he may even have a better understanding coming out of high school than Wes did, and that's saying a lot. Although, you take a look at a guy like Shavers, and, he's been the king of the hill for a while. A lot of people haven't heard of him because he's played at Pace, and he didn't get a lot of the publicity, and he was forced to play running back because their running back situation was tough. So he didn't get an opportunity. But you got to remember, he was part of that Josiah Trader and Posse and Jeremiah Smith freshman class that came into Pace. So, that was, and everybody, I remember they all played as freshmen. And they looked at all those guys and said, wow, because at the time you had Posse at quarterback, you had Shavers at running back, and you had Smith and Josiah at wide receiver. So you're saying to yourself, wow, back then I think it was like 20. and you say to yourself, wow, that 24 class is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And huge get from Miami. Family-oriented guy. Mom and dad are great. And, just they loved pace, but you could see that a lot of the attention was being shifted away from pace. And, you can't fault the kid. I mean, he's going to be on one of the teams that's looking for their fifth state title, and they're defending national champs. And so he actually makes his game type of debut this Saturday. This is Central has a 2:00 intra-squad spring game, which will bring spring to an end in South Florida and open the way the following week for the summer camps. And Miami kicks it off really quick on the first. They waste no time, and they have a special teams camp right off the bat. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see Vincent and what he brings to the table at the next level.
How do you feel, DJ? How do you feel about this pickup with Vince Shavers now? Like Blue mentioned, coming over from Pace, obviously going to national contenders in Central, but just his style of play and what he can, that's a shout out to Blue Taravella class. What he can bring to the table at the University of Miami as seems like a very fluid linebacker. He can play he can play inside and outside potentially. What do you like about Vincent Shavers?
Well, you kind of mentioned it right there, his versatility. I mean, more and more we're seeing the need to not necessarily be hard-hitting defensively, although that is a key component, but have, athleticism as well. And, Shavers kind of brings that versatility and athleticism to where you don't have to pigeonhole him to one specific, area on the field. He can, move around a little bit, and he does have the, skill set to make an impact in multiple areas of the field. So, I think that kind of multifaceted game, especially when you consider how offensive friendly college football is becoming, is going to be key for Shavers.
Yeah, I like to see Vish. I know. Look, don't laugh at this, dude. All right, I'm gonna serve you up a softball for the love of God. Okay,
go for it, man. Go for it.
Come on, man. I got you, bro.
I tried to get Melissa to come on so someone else can talk about recruiting. Anyway,
Melissa, we love you, but Vish, you got this, bro. You got this. First, before we even get there, by the way, shout out DJ. That Blink 182 concert looked awesome, bro.
It was so much fun.
I have to mention it. I didn't know you like Blink 182, man.
Oh, yeah.
Band, so that's cool.
It was so much fun. I had a few, and I'm hurting today, but that's the price of getting old. So.
I want to hear it, man. DJ's like significantly younger than us.
I know.
I'm 28. I mean, that's not young anymore.
That's significantly younger than us.
You get a pair of shoes that's 28. Right?
Oh man, that's awesome. Blue's probably got some Jordan 1s over there that barely used. You can sell them for like $50K right now, and he's holding on.
I'm telling you.
Oh man. So Vish, I want to go from a different perspective. Not only recruiting, but it's a position where Miami really hasn't done great in the past few years, right? I mean, I know with West last year, transfer portal guy, and Kiko Magaoa this year. They actually did pretty good last year, right? With Popo and Malik Bryant. So you've got some guys coming in that are still freshmen though. So it's going to take them a bit. You bring in another guy like Vince Shaver. I mean, you start bringing in guys like this, and now the linebacker position starts to become a strength, right? I mean, are you excited about bringing in another linebacker? How many do you think you want to see in this class, really?
So, answer the first question, yeah, and we shouldn't be done yet. I think we still need a few more. We keep talking about the depth on this team across the board, especially at linebacker. I mean, Blues talked significantly about how Corey Flagg might finally get pushed to a backup role, and that's no knock on him. He was the leading tackle last year. He's probably the only one that showed up consistently every game, so good on him. But then if you have him in like no depth behind that, that's not acceptable. So what's going to happen now is we're going to have to over-recruit several positions, take more than you would think you would need because we haven't stacked those classes before. And then as you grow that in, some people will transfer, obviously, because they're gonna fall out. So you gotta account for all of that. With the portal now, I think you gotta over recruit every position. You need more than you think you need because some people aren't gonna be here. Some people aren't gonna pan out, and especially in the situation we're in, where we just have not had the there goes Blue's cat. Some people have not stacked the classes together. We don't have the luxury of not essentially over committing. And I'm a sucker for a good name, and Shavers, good name for a linebacker.
That is right.
That's an excellent linebacker name. I can see him. AC Network Plus or whatever the hell channel we play on these days. I can hear the conference. 12:30 p.m. in Charlottesvile. I can already hear the commentators say Shavers laid someone out. So yeah, that's a good name.
I like
Shavers. More seriously, it's a good good depth piece that could potentially be a star down the road. But I think he's a solid player. And again, we just got any talent. You got to keep stacking the talent. There's not a position right now that we're like, oh, we don't need to like significantly upgrade 100%. The talent at. So
I agree.
So yeah, no, it's exciting. And I will say this momentum is just continuing to grow coming out of spring. We've just been, and that's what you're going to need to do for not just this year, but several years to come if we're going to get anywhere.
I like what Fernie says here, that it's not just depth that we need to create, but the competition on Green Tree. And I think, look, Blue, you kind of mentioned this, right? He's a plug and play kid. He can come in as a freshman, and if not a freshman, a sophomore, and come in and really compete for a starting position. I think that's how good he could potentially be at the next level. I'm excited to bring that in because we need dogs at the linebacker. Man, the University of Miami has always been known for having, I don't even have to go back too far, right? Denzel Perriman, guys like that. Sean Spence, who obviously undersized kid, but a dog. And then you can go down the line. You can go with the Dan Morgans and Armstead and the list goes on and on and on. So you need to definitely create that level of intensity and competitiveness on the field and let those guys just kind of battle it out and whoever may the best man win, right? It sounds cliche, but it's the truth, man. That's how it's always been on Green Tree. So I'm kind of excited. I think that they'll continue to stack the linebacker position. They've got some pretty big names in that, in that, I guess that list of linebackers that they're going after. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear some big names. Oh, we'll also talk about a guy who's recently been crystal balled to the youth, who's could potentially be this year's how do I say? I mean, this year's DJ Dallas or something along those lines, right?
Wow,
big time prospect that could potentially come in and help build this class out to be another monster. So we're excited. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I kind of want to get to this kid who I'll be quite frank, I don't know a lot about. I saw him commit during the weekend while I was shooting an 85 at the Silver Fox course at Trump. Okay, hold on a second. It really wasn't an 85. It was probably more like a 90, but we played best ball. So we shot an 85. So shout out to my buddy Landon who played with me. It was fun. We played with
Flo. Did you beat those Flo? Did you beat those guys? Damn it, man.
First of all, I didn't.
You let the brand down.
Yeah, I know.
The community down.
That man. But the group, my group won, right? So we had two groups, Group A and Group B. It was me, my buddy Landon, and then Lex from the Average Canes show, and this other guy Hector. And Lex and Hector won the whole tournament. So shout out to them for winning it.
So not only did you not win, you lost to Lex.
I'll tell you, I lost to Hector, but I love Lex. Lex is strong, man. That boy can. Whew. Lex, you can hit the crap out of the ball. Hector's more than he's a little seasoned vet on the course, so I'll give it to him. But Lex played well. He actually did play really well. So shout out to Lex for playing really well. But what I was saying was, Patrick Sullivan, an athlete, right? What is he? Blue. He comes from Mobile, Alabama, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tap almost won. Tap and Raymond. So. Tap was out there playing. Fernie played on Saturday at Trump as well. That was fun. It was good times. It definitely was. Next time, maybe me and you can pair up. I promise I'll play better. I did have the shot of the day. I'm not gonna lie. I really did. On the 15th hole, it was a 280 yard par 4, and I hit the green on the drive. So I'm good with that. I was about 7.
Yeah, Fernie, don't believe him when he says you'll play better next time.
I was about 7 feet from the cup.
Zero evidence to
I
support
shot
that.
like a 90. That's really not bad at all. Okay, so let's relax. Let's take a step back. All right. But no, on the real, mobile Alabama. Obviously, Alabama is a place where if you can grab a couple guys from that state, considering the monster that is over there in Tuscaloosa, you definitely want to do that. Now, this is a young prospect, an up and coming kid, an athlete. What does he project? Patrick Sullivan, what does he project as at the next level, Blue? Have you seen him play a little bit? What do you like about this kid, Pat Sullivan?
Just a very athletic guy. It's going to be a matter of where they're going to need him. Here's a guy who can come in and play a number of positions. And somebody that I watched, I actually, when they were talking about him, I watched him on film, and he's a dude. It's just with Miami's needs, where he fits in will probably be based on when he gets here to see where they're going to need him the most. But he plays on both sides of the ball. He's a pretty good looking kid, and and you're right though that Miami needs to kind of get more of those type of kids from the Alabamas, and I think now with the coaching staff that they have, especially with Guidry and his knowledge of, his knowledge of the of that area of the Gulf Coast region, and I think you're going to see Miami never does very well. They haven't done well in Alabama, but they've done fairly well. And if they can go in there and start getting really good kids, and not just somebody else's leftovers, I think they'll have a chance to be pretty special. And I think him and a couple of other targets that they have, I think that Miami's in. The one thing that I saw, like I said, I just saw Coach Maribel the other day, and I said, listen, you take May 21st, 2023 or 22 and compare the roster to now. Night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. So
that's always good to hear.
Where it might not reflect in wins and losses this year, because they still have, a schedule that they're going to be playing some teams that are going to be at home, and they're going to be more veteran. And but I think, there's just so much to be pleased about. And I know the Hurricane fans, the minute they lose to somebody they're not supposed to, World War X, so, but I like the direction they're going in. Alex Dono and I were talking, and the Miami fans watch the Star. Well, they're not the only ones, but fans in general watch stars, and they don't watch talent. And stars are just awarded because people don't see these kids play. They see them on tape. And DJ, I'm sure you agree with that, because if you just watch them on tape, you're going to miss the character, you're going to miss the things that they do, off the field, which it kind of adds up to their star ranking. And I think what Miami's got, they got a couple of kids that are going to be really, really special. And the Kirk kid, he's going to be off the charts. The kid Giles, another guy. So, I think Sullivan will fit right in with what Miami wants to do.
DJ, just kind of going into, mobile Alabama and taking a kid from, from that type of, from that area.
Just as long as it's not Jamarcus Russell. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that, but you never know. But it's always good to kind of go
college in. Jamarcus is probably better than how we've had.
No, yeah.
He had a cannon of an arm. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. But so much for that.
An offensive tackle's body, so they're.
Blue is not lying there at all.
Like a Jared Lorenzen type,
Hey, I think he made Jared Lorenzen look small.
DJ Pat Sullivan brings again another guy with versatility, right? You say it a lot too on the show is what you like about a lot of these players is the versatility, whether it's the offensive lineman that can play multiple positions on the line, linebackers that can play inside and outside, cornerbacks that can play safety and corner or nickel. This kid can kind of do all of that stuff in the backfield on defense, but he also can come on the offensive side of the ball and be productive as well. I guess if you had to choose where you wanted to see a guy like Pat Sullivan, where would you prefer to see him on the offense or on the defensive side?
I like, because I was watching some of his, highlights or tape or whatever today. Like Blue said, you could only get so much from those highlights of the tape. But from what I saw, I liked what he brought defensively. He was very quick instinctually. He was not afraid to get in the middle of a play. He was not afraid to, just go and get it. He didn't have to think about where he was going to go. He wasn't reckless in the sense that he just, was trying to hit everybody, but he had a motor that allowed him to really kind of make decisions quickly defensively and, make disruptive plays in the backfield, for instance. So I think I would like to see him on the defensive side of the football just because of the, speed he would bring and the, chaos he would be able to create in an opponent's backfield.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and what he brings, he's a smart kid. I think he has like a 4.1 GPA. I mean, he's a pretty good looking kid as far as that. And that's what Miami's aimed at. If you look at a lot of the kids that they go for, what they're going for these days, they're looking for kids who are equally as, impressive in the classroom. And that's important. Because those are kids that'll give everything to you. And I like him. DJ mentioned, he runs, like a wildcat and on one play, and then he's in the secondary, and he's like 200 pounds. But he does a lot of the one thing on offense that I watched on the film that he does is, he creates. In defense, he'll hit you. So, like I said, it gives you an opportunity to kind of play with a guy like that and see where he best fits you. And I think you made the right analysis before about DJ Dallas. Here's a guy that comes in. Remember, DJ Dallas was the ultimate Swiss Army knife.
Right.
Everywhere you could put him. So I think that's a really good recruit. And it's an area that really is tough to recruit in. You got so many schools in there. The Mississippi schools and the Alabama schools and everybody. So when you come out of an area with a really, really good football player, it's the kids in that area really don't get a lot of exposure to Miami. So it's something that you got to figure, well, wow, if he's coming here, he must be passionate enough to have followed Miami too. So
I agree. That's true. Here's a quick question for you, 2 minutes, Vish, because this is important, right? Like, you're getting some of these guys that are athletes that are.
You put a clock on me? 2 minutes, really?
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep track.
Take a timeout, Vish, and extend that time.
Everybody else gives me the middle finger when it comes to time anyway. So you're more than welcome to do the same.
I think if any of us have a timekeeping issue, I think you should probably look in the mirror there a little bit today.
Well, whatever. I don't know why you're picking on me today. I don't appreciate it.
You put me on a clock here. You put me on a clock here.
I don't appreciate it.
As if I can even talk for 2 minutes about the subject.
I want to move on. Yeah. All right. So if you could give me 2 minutes, that would be great. I'll take a minute and a half. All right. if that's all you got for me. But versatility is the name of the game. You see a lot of Coach Cristobal going after guys that can play multiple positions, whether it's on both sides of the football, whether it's just, like I mentioned earlier, cornerback and safety, inside and outside on the line, so on and so forth. Do you like the fact that, the coaching staff is recruiting guys like that are more versatile, or do you want to see guys that are more I don't want to say specialist, but more as like this guy is a true corner. This kid is a true middle linebacker. This kid's a true edge rusher. Things like that. Or do you like the versatility of saying, hey, this kid, if we need him to play corner, he can. If we need him to blitz off the edge as a safety, whatever the case is, he can do that. What is your thought on that type of player, recruiting that as opposed to a guy that's just one-minded?
For the way that the team currently is, I prefer this approach of going versatile. Fernie touched on it earlier just to show this, that we're trying to do multiple things, but also we are not in a position where we have like a mature roster. We're like, all right, we need this guy to plug this gap because we know this other guy who's doing that role right now is going to graduate in a year and then he'll be a sophomore and so be able to pick. Like, we're not anywhere close to that. I mean, these freshmen come in and start, right? So I think it makes sense to keep as much, not just use the term versatility, but flexibility in how we're going to go for it. I know Mario has a vision of what he thinks the finished product will look like, but you're not going to get every kid you go after. You're not going to get every recruit you go after. You need to hand pick. These are the guys I want. It's not the NFL. You can't draft someone, right? You have to convince them to come here, and this provides a lot of flexibility to, I think, put together the most overall talent that we can. Because that right now is just about upgrading the talent. You get talent any which way you can. I think he's doing that, and by keeping this versatility and flexibility in play, he is going to allow us a year or two from now to get as much of this talent on the field as we can. Right. Now, 2 to 3 years from now, hopefully we've upgraded the talent enough where we can focus on, okay, we need a linebacker that fits this because we plug him right in here to our squad. And Blink-182 reference, focus on all the small things. Right now, we got to do the big things, and that's just upgrading the talent. So I think the versatility helps a lot with that, because the last thing you want to do is recruit 3 traditional middle linebackers and have 2 of them sit on the bench and then have someone else playing at another position that probably is not in top 10 on the defense talent-wise, but has to start because he's the only guy who can do that role. So, and we've seen that some with our safeties as well, as we tried to get more of them on the field last year. I think we're going to continue to do that. Just go for the flexibility and see that we can spread the talent around and get as much talent on the field as we can in the short term to hopefully win that extra game so we can go to a bowl game this year.
Yeah, that would be nice. Shout out to Chalupa Batman. What's going on, man? We appreciate the love. They got some pretty cool show as well. So plug the show there, man, whenever you get the chance.
Yeah, it's the You Heard show is his show, and then he's also now a regular with Dono, so check him out on Locked On also.
Pretty awesome.
Look at that. Awesome. I can play for you, Chalupa.
There you go. Look, I'm going to go the other way around here on this one with Kasani Giles, recent commit, right? Committed today, 2026. I stand corrected. I said 2025 earlier. He's a 2026 cornerback out of IMG Academy. Now, look, there's 2 things, right? I like it, but I'm also nervous about it because it's continuing to build that IMG pipeline, right? And these IMG kids love Miami apparently, right? So this is exciting. You got David Stones and and some of the other ballers that are over there right now, and now you got a 2026 kid who is a legit star in the making there at IMG, another cornerback prospect. So I really like them going after this kid, long, lanky kid. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is, it's early, and a lot of times, a lot of these kids, 2026 kid, man, I mean, that's a freshman, right? A freshman, 2026?
Going to be a sophomore.
He's going to be a sophomore. Okay, so, committing that early is tough, man, because now you start playing really well, and you got all the other teams, all the big teams that are going to come after you also. First of all, how do you feel, DJ, about picking up a kid so early in the recruiting cycle of 2026? And I mean, it is a kid from IMG, so continue to build the pipeline. I think there's a possibility that he sticks, but you're gonna have to recruit the hell out of him for 4 years or 3 years.
I'm excited about the initial commitment, but I kind of am a little wary, kind of like you. I mean, it is 2026. He has offers, from programs like LSU and some of the bigger programs, and his profile is only going to continue to grow. So, while I am excited about the commitment for sure, and, I think he would be a great addition to the program, 2026 in the recruiting world is still kind of a long way away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Now, he's a really good player. Blue, you were up in that area recently. I don't know if you got a chance to see him play or not, or if you have in the past. But anything you can say about Kasani Giles and his commitment to the Canes?
He's a baby. I mean, he not anywhere near what he's going to be in a couple of years from now, as far as his strength, his knowledge, his maturity. So it's just like I said, it's a little tough to kind of get excited about a kid that won't be on campus for years, So, but I like the idea. Personally, I wouldn't let. I wouldn't let my kid commit this early. Why would you commit this early? It just makes no sense. You could strongly favor a school.
Sure.
It's like Ty Wise's kid. He's a 26 kid. He's a full-grown man. He's 6'4", 295 pounds. And Miami offered him finally last week too. But he's nowhere near ready to commit. He's going to make his first trip down here. He has, even though his dad played here, they live up in the Panhandle. That's a hike. But right now, guys like that, and you mentioned Giles, anything could happen. That's a long way off. If he's a 24 kid, we get excited, but right now, I think it's a little early in the deal. If he's still with them in 2 years, then I'll start getting excited. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but it's just he's a puppy, he's not even anywhere near what he's going to be.
Right. So
question for everyone else that kind of follows this more closely than I do. So I just saw too that Western Kentucky offered a 27 Ks in 8th grade. Is this just the way this is going now, where we're gonna have these? I know they've been for years. People have been offering way in advance, but it's usually kind of just a token offer. But are we gonna start seeing more of this? Kind of 2 to 3 years out.
But can they even? Committing. I don't think they could even offer Vish. They can't offer these underclassmen.
That's never stopped anyone. No, I know, but I guess. Do you think this is where we kind of end up as a recruiting thing now, where it's just going to be like people aren't even going to wait till their senior year to commit? It's just going to be a lot of.
Well, the problem is you've got all these early signing day periods and. You've got all these schools committing earlier, recruiting earlier and earlier. If you wait till your senior year, look, some of these 5-star prospects, they're going to hold spots for them, right? Of course, but for the most part, you better get in quick, because it's not only about your spot, but it's also your NIL money, right? Let's be real. That unfortunately that's the name of the game right now. So it's going to be
right. But I guess I worry more about from the player's standpoint, from the recruit standpoint, because it's very easy to commit 3 or 4 years in advance, but that if you don't reach the potential they think you are, they'll yank that offer right out from under you and you're screwed, kind of. And it's just I don't know. This is
it's a risk you take.
I don't think this is a great development, to be honest. Not talking about the specific player, because I obviously am not really in the
just in general
develop, but I think this is, to Blue's point, I think it's too early to be committing to a school, and
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree. I don't think it's a great development, but I think it's something kind of like NIL and things like that, where it's going to become part of the college football landscape. So people are going to learn how to adapt to it, and hopefully these kids have good people giving them advice on how to handle these things. Because I can't imagine being this young and making my college future this early. I can barely hold myself together now, and I'm 28 years old. I can't imagine making a big life decision.
Once again, just shoving it in our face. The youthful Danny Gillette.
Sorry, I'm bringing some youth to the AARP hour, but okay.
Man. That's some high quality stuff, man.
I like it.
I like it. Definitely.
That's got to go on your next cut when you put the next.
There's definitely a "What's My Age Again" reference in there also, as we're doing Blink.
You're on fire, Vish. I like this.
No, you are on fire, my man. I love it.
I've been in Miami a while. I'm feeling like myself again. I don't know if I can go back. I'm gonna have to go back, but
don't do it. Last but not least.
Wait, sorry. Does anyone have a take on do we think I guess the question is because I think we talked about how talented the kid is, how much I think he's going to grow, and how if he gets on campus, it's awesome. But Does this even mean anything at this point? I guess it's probably the better question.
I mean, it's nice because it's an IMG kid, and the pipeline is really strong. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it means much. I'm not gonna look into it too much. It's fun. It's nice to see, but it's a 2026 recruiting class.
Yeah.
We're still trying to hunker down and solidify 24. We're not.
Yeah. Well, that kid, Baby Gronk, is a 29 or 30, and he's got all these NI. He's not going to even be playing football.
Yeah,
don't even get me started on him. Don't even.
All I know is when everybody grows up to his age, I want to see how tough he is. I mean, he's bigger than most, but
he is a tight end. DJ.
He's like 5'6", 5'5".
I don't know if you'd want him at Miami though.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't like those.
He's just making a lot of money because everybody, I think, one of the companies is giving him. That's what Melissa should give. She should give Giles a hoodie, and maybe he'll come down. Give her a personalized hoodie.
Yeah, we might have.
Look. Melissa does not share the hoodies. Okay, the hoodies.
That's true.
Plus, I'm pretty sure it's a recruiting violation, Blue. So let's not.
We're in this day and age, what is a violation?
No, it's not.
No, that's what they'll get you for. You can literally just straight up buy a kid. It's fine. If you do something wait, that's an extra benefit.
That is true.
This just in, the Cavenders graduated, so that's it shows you that anything can happen. Like they're gonna ever need that diploma.
Yeah, it's still an accomplishment.
Yes.
It is, but they're never going to need it, and I wouldn't use it if I was them. I mean,
all right, since I do have a duty here, since Melissa's now 3 times promoted buckets. It is on Wednesday. I lied. Buckets is on Wednesday. Vishnu wearing a hoop shirt. Buckets. She's got a new hoodie.
Okay.
All right. So
we get it. Buckets is on Wednesday.
Yeah, but it's the first time we're gonna have the full Buckets crew, so it's a momentous occasion. So definitely tune in on Wednesday. Matt is back from his honeymoon. We're gonna have all 3 of us on the same show for the first time.
You're excited about that one.
Yeah, nice. So that's a
that'll be
good episode of Buckets. Blue is turning us off, I think.
I don't blame you, Blue.
Checking some of the other action out.
You're watching the Panthers game there, Blue?
I was watching the basketball game, actually. So.
Okay.
Oh, Lakers fan Blue. This is what has happened now.
Yeah. Well, what am I gonna do?
I guess Jazz.
I want to jump on the Heat bandwagon.
Me and Blue are in the same
There's still space, Daddy. There's still space.
I don't know if there's space, man.
DJ, where you at, dog? You want to jump on it too, baby?
No, I'm good. I'm all good.
Sure? All right, bro. Greatest franchise in sports right now, man. You still got time. I'm just saying.
I want what you're having, Jazz. That's what I want. I want what you're having.
Hey,
don't make me get on my way.
Don't make me do it to you like Butler did to Horford, to Tito. He went, hey, relax.
I don't know why Horford did that. That was so dumb.
Well, I mean, I don't know why a lot of things, Grant Williams and Horford and the rest of
you guys can take Grant Williams, by the way. I'm tired of him.
I don't know.
Just like Isaiah Wynn. Thank you, Miami Dolphins. So goodbye.
Well, I don't know, but we're not taking anybody else from the Celtics unless it's Jaylen Brown. Let's bring him over. Look, one more cat I wanted to talk about before we get out of here is he's been crystal balled now to Miami. This is huge. His 5-star prospect, Justin Scott, defensive line. The defensive line is going to be fun and exciting from what I'm hearing. It's going to be fun and exciting times as far as what the recruitment is going to be like for the defensive line for the University of Miami. And it all starts with this kid. It starts with Justin Scott. Justin Scott gets in here, 5-star kid, one of the top defensive linemen in the country. You get him down here, and I mean, it looks good. Obviously, I don't want to kind of, count my chickens yet, but we're talking about an elite prospect, Blue, that can come in and help Miami recruit the best of the best at all positions, not just at defensive line. How big would it be to get a commitment from Justin Scott?
Especially when you're being pursued by Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, USC, Alabama. I think it'd be big. I mean, 6'4", 310. I think it'll be the first kid that Miami's gotten out of Chicago since Russell Maryland.
Wow.
And that guy, he turned out pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's This guy's he's a man. He's just a man child, and but it's going to be a dogfight down to the end, I think, because there's some really elite schools in there, but a lot of those Georgias and Ohio State can't promise him what Miami could promise him.
Jared Payton was out of there, right? Or is he like a suburb or something?
Suburb school, yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't count?
Chicago doesn't count, but Chicago kid, right? Yeah. At the end of the day. I love this Justin Scott opportunity, this possibility. He, like I mentioned before, Cristobal to Miami now. DJ, this would be a huge get for the Hurricanes at a position that they need desperately to fill with some elite talent. What does he do for that defensive line? Is he a kid that can come in and start day one?
Absolutely. He can collapse pockets very quickly. He's very quick. Again, speed on the defensive side of the football. He creates havoc in the backfield. He, forces the pocket to collapse. And, one of the things that I'm noticing, with, recruiting edge rushers and being crystal ball with defensive linemen and just overall, like getting good players on the edge and on the defensive line also helps your secondary. So there's a lot of good, complementary football, because I know we've landed some corners. We just got a commitment for the 26 kid, and so you're seeing the defense kind of being built piece by piece, and you're getting players on the defensive line that will be able to help the secondary and vice versa.
Yeah, again, Bishop, it's to me it's the most important position that the Canes need to recruit this year for the 2024 class. And when you start off with a 5-star prospect like Justin Scott, I think that is only going to build the momentum there. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, right? Like we built off this momentum from the spring game, and we're getting, some really top talent now coming into the Canes, whether it's from the 24 class or others. This is a big time get. And this is something that you're talking about dominoes falling. Now you're talking about, this is a 5-star prospect, one of the best players in the country, committing to this school after a 5-7 season, after, everything that's kind of happened, new coaching staff and everything. This will be huge for the Canes, won't it?
Yeah, and you're going to need that type of player early in the cycle just to legitimize, frankly, the program right now. It's been a while, and then, like you said, coming off of last year's season, to say no, there is something special down there, and that was just the beginning of the growth, and not kind of where the program actually is going to be. So yeah, I think it's really important to get those big time recruits. We talk a lot about the ones that go around and kind of evangelize for the school after they come in, but it's also just symbolically important to get. I know stars aren't everything, but get those 5 stars in here, and then it kind of allows other 5 stars to also then, hey, maybe I should commit there, and do so without looking like they're out of their mind, to be honest, because you're sitting there. I mean, I hate to say this, but if you're like Alabama and Georgia want me, and then Miami wants me, like, I mean,
yeah. Well,
at this point, it's like, I mean, especially if you're not local. If you're local, it's completely different, right? Sure. But if you're like coming in from Chicago, it's kind of like, you want to do that? So if he says, yes, I want to do that, and these are the reasons why I want to do that, that validates it for a lot of other people. And
now he can use that to, like you said, evangelize.
Yeah, and it also, there's probably other big-time recruits that are thinking the same thing, but maybe a little bit afraid to say, hey, I'd rather go to Miami than Georgia. I'd rather go to Miami than Alabama, but, like, I'll be looked at like I'm crazy if I do that.
Right.
All of a sudden, if Justin Scott does it first, then it's, oh, hey, it's totally normal to do that now, right? And I think that's a big deal to get him and get.
That's how kids are. They want to follow other big time players.
They want to follow their big time players, and they also don't want to be out on an island looking like they're an idiot that could have gone to Alabama and Georgia and went to Miami instead, went 5-7 or whatever, right? So, but if they're not the only one doing it, then they're not going to look that way.
I agree. Before we go, we mentioned the guy blue that you got to see this weekend real quick. I totally forgot to mention him, is the kid that transferred from Ohio, what's his name? Elias Rudolph, big-time defensive line prospect that the coaches were able to, it looks like they were able to give him an offer this past weekend. What'd you like about Elias Rudolph coming in?
Here's a really long kid, 6'5", about 215. The weird thing is nobody could tell. I mean, I asked coaches, why would you leave? You were the number 3 player in Ohio, the number 11 overall nationally. I found out that he does have, some relatives down here, but wow. I mean, before he was at Cincinnati Taft High School, and before he left, he had Cincinnati, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio State, West Virginia, Pitt, Arkansas, Penn State, all schools. He's a 4-star kid. He's long. He's quick. He'll follow up plays. In the first event that I saw him at about 6 weeks ago, they didn't have enough wide receivers, so he played wide receiver. Wow. They didn't have enough DBs, so he played safety. You just can't teach that, and as well as I do, Ohio's, they're pretty talented.
Yeah.
As far so if you're one of the best there, and and all those offers that he had, he even responded when Miami offered him. So that's not a bad look. And I'll tell you what, as time comes down, it's the best thing is he's here now. It's not like he's in some other state. So
what school is he at again?
I was at Deerfield Beach.
Deerfield Beach.
A team that was down for the last couple of years because over a 10-year period, I mean, they put out kids left and right, from Shoelace to quarterback at Michigan to Restrepo and guys like that. They've had some, so I think, they have the athletes. It's just that, Coach Javon Glenn, who did a great job, he moved on, and now they're trying to rekindle. But I'll tell you what, like I was talking to a couple of their players on Saturday, I said, not a bad dude to have dropped in your lap, so we'll see what progresses, but he reminds me a little bit of Wayne, almost, but longer. So that's not a bad little
Jaden Wayne? Did you say Jaden Wayne?
Yeah, Jaden Wayne.
Gotcha.
And everybody was, talking very positively about him.
Well, I'm glad that Miami got on him now, and now he's a local product now, so they can keep a close eye on him. And I think that recruiting is going to be one to watch for sure.
Yeah.
We're excited about that one. Mr. Overdose, appreciate the love, man. Didn't even know Flo was going on today, but I get it why, because yesterday he played another round, and I guess he was old man knees, man. He couldn't take it anymore, so he probably went to bed early. But
Mr. Overdose also a definite fan of the Bucket Show, so shout out to him.
Yes, sir.
And I guess we're getting hockey updates now.
Awesome. Panthers score, baby. 1-0.
Can we tweet it out like ESPN does? First reported by
Melissa's glued to that damn thing.
Yep. They're gonna lie because of the Heat. Oh, because of the Heat game. Okay, makes sense. Melissa knows. Melissa's on the field correspondent. All right, for all
we go live during Heat games, and the 3 people that show up, we appreciate you. So
we do. Why can't you do what we do? We just turn on the TV and watch the Heat game while we're doing the show. I mean,
well, I'm trying to do the show while you guys are all just watching TV.
Yeah, what difference does it make? But if you want to talk some baseball, listen, baseball.
This is exciting, man.
This is exciting. I'm actually super excited to talk baseball tonight. Blue, jump in whenever you want to talk about Kings baseball, man. You know that you're more than welcome to jump in. We got.
I don't know if you have eligibility left, anyone, but if you can pitch,
yes, we can use a couple arms.
Head over to Durham.
Passed.
We don't play till Thursday. There's still time for you to get out there and throw some.
I'm not 28 anymore like DJ. So.
Yeah, right. Real quick before we go, shout out to PrizePicks.com, our sponsor of the night. PrizePicks, make sure you go check them out. PrizePicks.com. When you sign up, you will receive. They'll match your $100 up to $100. Excuse me. They'll match your initial deposit up to $100 with the code 5 FIVE. It's real simple. You pick 2 or more players, choose the over/under on their individual categories. Could be from any sport, any league, baseball, basketball, Formula One, hockey, you name it. College football, they've got it all. So make sure you check them out. It's PrizePicks.com. Sign up. Code word is 5 FIVE, and they'll match your initial deposit up to $100. Check them out. PrizePicks.com. Stay tuned because we've got some Canes baseball coming up for you now for the next half hour. So we'll talk regionals. We'll talk ACC championship. We'll talk.
We'll talk Jazz leaving in the 5th inning of a game that the Canes miraculously came back and won on Friday.
Listen. You gotta do what you gotta do. I can't. I'm not on vacation like you are, Vish. Okay.
I am not on vacation. I'm just not in DC.
Sure. All right. We'll talk to you guys about some baseball now coming up in about 5 minutes. So check us out. Stay here. It'll be on the 5 Reasons.
Yes, and Buckets is on Wednesday before Melissa kills me.
Buckets is on Wednesday. Good Lord. We'll see you guys.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know.